Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. Of course, on Mondays, we have a chat with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. This morning, Inspector Michelle Lewis joins us on set. Good morning, Inspector.
Good morning, Ruckus. Good morning, Kimberly.
Good morning,
It is
Inspector.
a pleasure to be here.
Of
yes.
course.
How you make it through the carnival, Inspector?
Well, all boots were on the ground.
Ay, ay, ay.
The government boots. The government boots.
Very nice.
That the carnival was safe and secure, and from all reports, we did a good job. So I can pat myself.
Not cautiously.
Not cautiously. This is our
yes.
bossy pat on the back now. Nice.
But the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we really want to say thank you for all the stakeholders that have assisted to cause the season to be safe. I listened to the presenters or the guests that you had just before me, and they gave their analysis of the Carnival post, so that you know that there are some things that you can always take away, you know, because there's no perfect situation.
Yeah.
But by and large, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we had a plan. We had strategies in place coming out of the Christmas, because of Christmas we had the day operation and the Grand Slam in different divisions. And then we went into SOCA, which, Operation SOCA, which is really SOCA, securing our carnival activities. So we stayed well within the theme, well within the context of Carnival, and created that theme for Carnival SOCA for TTPS.
Now, Inspector Lewis, you said that there were no, that you gave yourself a pat on the back because there were no instances, but is it that there were none altogether, or just there were not many to name, or how is it that you were able to gauge how successful it was?
Generally, throughout divisions, we normally work with the command center, the operational centers, and they would give us feedback throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And so that feedback would go to the commissioner of police, and then it would come down to us. And so in that report, it indicated that we had no carnival-related activities that were serious. And notwithstanding the police, so remember, at the start of the carnival, we had police at all strategic points entering the city in particular because carnival is all throughout Trinidad and Tobago. But we know that Port of Spain is the hub for it all, and persons come here, so where, for example, firearms, knives, and any type of weapon or anything that could be used to harm or injure persons, those items were seized immediately from persons. They weren't charged, except of course it's things like firearm, but personal items, they were seized and the officers allowed them to go. So that we know, for example, in those cases, we did not have that kind of incident or those types of incidents happening throughout Trinidad and Tobago. We got the reports that it was nil. Even where you have persons parking the vehicles, we didn't have any reports of persons being robbed or anything like that. You saw some incidents where police would have intercepted or made raids because exercises continued throughout the carnival season, while persons were parading and having a good time, and persons were camping, and some persons, of course, stayed at home. Police were still doing exercises. Apart from the visual of police presence at carnival events, you also had police officers in plain clothes and uniform patrolling residential communities and parking spaces to ensure that kind of thing.
Inspector,
So-
it's a real police, because in them
Yeah,
had
because
You said
plenty.
all boots was
But
on the ground.
I'm curious now, like, what is the size of our police service?
I mean, that figure has been public so many times.
Like, Jesus, and just
And
because the
remember,
amount of
we
police I see in
also-
Marshall alone, in Marshall Fed alone, the amount of police I see, and if you're telling me that we had these roadblocks happening, we still had police patrolling, and we still had exercises taking place,
Yeah.
then it's really all hands on deck approach.
All hands on deck. And remember, the commissioner of police called out all officers on leave.
Right.
Now, Marshall Fête would have been pre-carnival.
Right, okay.
And of course, that would be one of the events for which you would pay for police officers to,
Right.
to specifically be at that event.
Right. Yeah.
And of course, with all the police and that support still, so we still have that partnership with the Promoters Association and all of that, and all those stakeholders that work well during the entire carnival season up to this point.
Inspector, I wanted to find out about the bottles situation. I know that for Carnival there was a big thing saying, the TTPS saying, we're not allowed to have bottles on the road. How was that situation managed?
It worked well, I was on the avenue on Tuesday, and I saw officers not arresting persons, which they could have because it's the law, but actually offering persons water bottles to throw over their alcohol content from a glass bottle into a plastic receptacle, so that we saw the officers really utilizing and engaging in another type of approach, as opposed to, it is against the law, and we could arrest you, but, another option was chosen, and so persons were able to still enjoy their carnival season, so it worked well.
Yeah.
And
Was
having
that,
that
was
adult
that
really helped.
an overall choice in terms of allowing the police officer to almost engage in a softer side of policing rather than bringing on the strong arm of the law?
Well, the law is there. The law is there, and it is always often said that the police officer, you are the first judge, and so you can utilize a level of discretion in some cases.
So there was no mandate as to how we're
Yeah.
going to approach this?
No, well, the law is stricter, but of course, in context, because at the end of the day, you really don't want a situation to escalate.
Right,
Not that one can in that case, because, you know,
Yeah.
but understanding the carnival season and what has already been the norm, some persons may not have been fully aware of it. And so because it is something that we are introducing into the country gradually, we have to give an allowance for things like that.
Nice. I mean, as we look forward to Lent, I mean, are these strategies going to continue into Lent and beyond?
So yeah, so we moved from Christmas into Carnival, praise the Lord, and now we're going into the Easter vacation, the Easter, the Lenten
Yes.
season, and that type of period. You know,
So
a
the
lot of
next
people
big,
going
the next
across
big
to
outside
Tobago,
period
Yeah.
is Easter and Tobago.
Yes.
Tobago, and so, but crime is still there. We don't want people to think that, you know, you can let your heart down and you can just relax. We still want members of the public to be very vigilant, very responsible in the way that you drive and park your vehicles, because we did put out some public, you know, notices,
Cautionary
in relation to that,
notices,
yes, and
yes.
tips that you can use, and that would have been because we saw an increase in larceny motor vehicle and robbery motor larceny motor vehicle and robbery motor vehicle, and so we put out that. So regardless of whether it's Carnival, Christmas, or Easter, your safety is still important, and you still have a responsibility to do so. We really want to thank the stakeholders in the Ministry of National Security, defense force that were out there with us, boots on the ground again, prisons, fire, Coast Guard. Well, of course, all those fall under. We had immigration as well, because we had some issues where we had to call them and they were there for us.
What kind of issues you had with immigration?
No, where information that we needed,
Oh.
not issues like
I
bad
check in. I don't know. I check in for the culture.
No.
I want
Just
to know
because
what
it's
is-
just there.
I want to know what immigration do if we have to send home people and things.
And then we had the transit that was there with us as well, and the traffic warden. So we really had good support throughout all the law enforcement agencies. And then, of course, we had NCC and all the other collaborative groups under Carnival and the umbrella of Carnival that worked with us, because we had meetings since November, December, to ensure that this mother of Carnival, from our perspective, maintain a safe and secure atmosphere and environment for both the persons who live here as well as the visitors who come in and spend, according to the person before, $15,000 to come into the country, that kind of thing. So we did our part, and we saw that, you know, all hands made it easier.
No, but Inspector, I do have a question though. One of the things I saw were a lot of road traffic accidents. I mean, was there anything that the police service would have done to sort of prevent? I mean, was there, for example, public awareness campaigns that you put out before? Because there were a lot of accidents happening from that Friday night into Tuesday.
Well, okay, so accidents generally. So what we would look to see if there's an uptick in relation to Carnival at that season, at that time. So we look at the trends through CAPA to see if, for example, because we generally have a lot of accidents in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
Perhaps at Carnival you were just looking at that time, your eyes probably were more open, but generally in Trinidad, unfortunately, we have a lot of accidents taking place, a lot of serious and minor accidents. Now, we do have a lot of announcement, public service and public sharing that we do right on this program, as well as through videos. So, for example, we would show drinking and driving, driving without your seatbelt, parking at an area that you're not supposed to park, and stuff like that. So we always, traffic is continuous. We always have information out when it comes to traffic and accidents, because it is something that happens, particularly based on the type of weather we have in Trinidad. You get an increase in, I mean, the rain could just fall a little bit. And some districts like St. Joseph has like 100 accidents a day.
But it's so, I know that you said, for example, you know, coming into the hub of Carnival, police officers would have taken away weapons and stuff from people who were coming into the capital city. Were there any instances of an increase in people driving under the influence, or people who were not wearing their seatbelts? Did we see any sort of increases during Carnival time?
I did not get that data in relation to whether we had a lot of persons driving under the influence of drink or drug, because the persons would be charged.
Right. Yeah.
For that, we will charge.
That's not a responsibility.
That's not a conversation. No, that's not a conversation.
You put another person's life at risk.
Exactly.
Of
And we
course.
just can't allow you to continue, whereas with, we can,
Yeah.
One of the people I know that would have been working with you as well as Customs and Excise, and I understand that there were lots of bars that got shut down because they didn't have the proper licenses and stuff
Right,
like that.
so yes, like we said, we had all the stakeholders involved, and so we give support and back, that I want to say backup.
We use the strong arm of the law.
That also was the conversation.
The strong arm of the law.
But it's normal police jargon. But yeah, we do give support to all the agencies and likewise, and so we work together so that things are safe. So we really want to say thanks. We want to say thanks as well to the media, because without you all, it really couldn't be possible. Sharing and having that partnership helps, and we intend to maintain it as an organization with you guys.
Make sure that all of your colleagues are aware. All. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Inspector.
Always a
And do
pleasure.
enjoy the rest of the day, and congratulations on a safe and a pretty successful carnival.
Yeah.
Which I will convey to the Commissioner and the Executive. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Now Morning Show. We take a quick break and come back with more. We still unpacking Carnival 2023. Stick around.
Was like a battle zone, but nowadays and so I am all shocked to know